The establishment of the Blade River sect was the great joyous event in the dozens of chaos states surrounding Huyang City. Countless cultivators were thrilled by it, and there were some eternal true gods rushing over from within the Shi Kingdom and Yu Kingdom, wanting to join the Blade River sect. The sect established by the God King Luo He. God King Luo He was the absolute number one when he was in the Chaos Realm, after becoming a God King. He immediately rivaled the Shi Kingdom Lord, who among the cultivators of the dozens of surrounding chaos states didn't know the tyranny of the Shi Kingdom Lord. For long years, the Shi Kingdom had been eroding and annexing the neighborhood. Even the Kong Kingdom had suffered many losses. Luo Feng's battle with the Shi Kingdom Lord and even forcibly taking 10 chaos states from the Food Kingdom had proven his strength. Why else would the Shi Kingdom Lord cede 10 chaos states? When the Blade River sect was established and recruited disciples for the first time, 1,508 Eternal True God-level disciples were recruited, more than 30,000 Void True God disciples, and more than 50,000 True God disciples were recruited even after extremely strict screening, Yuan said. Morosa also said from the side, "We've tried to raise the threshold as much as we can, but there are too many cultivators who came to participate. The number is more than I expected." Luo Feng said. The sect was in its early stage. It was afraid that there would be some flaws in its operation, so the first recruitment scale was to be controlled as much as possible. The conditions were set very high, but the number of disciples that were finally selected was several times more than what was predicted. The main reason is that apart from our 20 chaos states, the neighboring Shi and Yu Kingdom have both too many cultivators rushing over. Ancestor Yuan said, the Shi Kingdom Lord and Yu Kingdom Lord haven't established sects, and only the most elite and dazzling eternal true gods in their kingdoms are invited to become their disciples. The number is just too small. Luo Feng nodded. When he was at eternal true god level, he too was dazzling enough. He even received an invitation from the Yu Kingdom Lord, wanting to recruit himself as a disciple. How many could possibly reach such dazzling? To the Shi Kingdom Lord and the Yu Kingdom Lord, being a disciple doesn't mean much to them. Luo Feng said, to them at that level, the many resources brought by the kingdom were mainly for the family, for their men. They cared more about some of the resources left behind by Yuan, and more about their own bloodline cultivation. This time, only about a third of the disciples we recruited are from our 20 chaos states. Yuan said, I'll trouble you too for the sex affairs in the future. Luo Feng smiled. Don't worry. Morosa immediately responded. Yuan nodded his head. The two of them were two chaos realms, but in reality, Morosa was at the God King level. It was already enough for them to preside over the usual matters of the sect. It might also be necessary for you, Luo He, to give some disciple slots. Yuan said, just register as a disciple. This will encourage the sect's disciples to work harder. First, give 10 places for registered disciples and 1 place for direct disciple. Luo Feng nodded. That's enough. Yuan nodded. Morosa heard it from the side and couldn't help but feel a stirring in his heart. Master is going to recruit a second personal disciple? Qing Yan's position won't be so secure by then. This kid cultivates the bloodline cultivation system. I personally instructed him, and I also have the resources to supply him, and he has only comprehended 1 Chaos Realm move so far. The distance to becoming a Chaos Realm is too far, too far. Like the Blood Cloud Divine Lord back then, he mastered many Chaos Realm moves and could even form a complete system. We have to push him hard. Morosa secretly decided. He knew very well that his master had outstanding talent, and the Blade River sect was widely recruiting disciples. In the future, all of his disciples, both direct disciples and registered disciples, would be very talented. Mayu Qingyan could only maintain his position if he became a Chaos Realm, and then relied his status as a senior disciple. Otherwise, even if he was a senior disciple, a mere eternal true god, he would be marginalized among the disciples in the future. The establishment of the Blade River sect was considered a major event in Huyang City and in the Yu Kingdom. However, in the entire Origin continent, it was quite insignificant, and today's Blade River sect was too much of a stretch to be considered a second-rate force. In terms of territory, in terms of the sect's overall strength, it was all too weak. Only the sect leader, Luo He God King, could be considered a dominating force. In the blink of an eye, the Blade River sect had been established for half an epoch. The Emperor Gue Su invited to the Treasureland Dream Domain? Luo Feng, who was in seclusion, was invited by the Samsara building. His heart stirred, and immediately, with the help of the token, his mind descended to that Samsara building. The building coalesced in illusion. Luo Feng had also come several times since he became an official member of the Samsara building. Becoming a god king had also received invitations to action, but Luo Feng had refused them all. Brother Luo He. Inside the Samsara building there were two figures at the moment. One was the recruiter of the operation, Emperor Gue Su, who was big and burly and was smiling as he shouted, Luo He. The other figure was a one-eyed woman wearing light green robes, emitting a slightly evil aura. It was none other than the Yuntian God King, who was also in the first-level God King. She and Luo Feng were the only ones in the entire Samsara building who were in the first-level God King. Luo Feng casually sat down and asked, "Who else?" "Wu Exine God King will be here soon," Emperor Gue Su said. Luo Feng nodded. In just a few breaths of time, a youth also entered with a smile. "Brother Gue, are there any other members?" "It's just the four of us in total this time." Emperor Gue Su smiled and said, "Father Luo, he is very rare. He even came here by invitation this time. This is the first time that old brother Luo he has been willing to make a move since he came to the Samsara building." The Wu Exine God King also said, "Brother Luo, he has been very busy lately. He just became a God King, fought with the Tian Kuan Kingdom Lord, and now he's establishing a sect." "Just finished being busy," Luo Feng said. "Establishing a sect is actually one more burden." The one-eyed woman, Yun Tian God King, said from the side, "In the future, if you cause a big trouble, the sect will instead become a breach in itself." Emperor Gue Su said, "Luo he is different from us. He specializes in body cloning secret method and also cultivates several great Daos. His methods of preserving his life is much stronger. Even if he causes great trouble, how many people would be willing to go through toe-to-toe with Luo He? I can kind of see through it. In the origin continent, the ability to save one's life is more important than the ability to kill." "Right." The Wu Exine God King also nodded in agreement. "The two of you still feel that the methods of preserving your lives is weak." The one-eyed woman, Yun Tian God King, shook her head speechlessly. The Emperor Gue Su, who had only died in his previous life after being surrounded by 3 emperors, still had time to reincarnate. Wu Exine God King has the same direct strength as the Emperor Gue Su, but the ability to escape is stronger. Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom has surrounded and killed him many times, but Wu Exine God King still managed to escape. Later, for the sake of his own clan, he took the initiative to reincarnate during the siege. After the reincarnation, he hid in the dark. The Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom could not find him through the karma, but instead, they were more afraid and did not dare to easily lay their hands on the Wu Exine God King's ethnicities. Keeping the ethnicities was a kind of restraint. The Yinfeng Ancient Kingdom had learned a lesson about how much of a threat a terrifying God King who was unattached and full of hatred could be. When the 3 emperors had killed Emperor Gue Su's wife and children, the ethnicity, and even all the living beings in the city, it was because they thought that they were certain of completely destroying Emperor Gue Su. However, the Emperor Gue Su's means were stronger than they expected, and in the case of handing over the secret treasures, in front of the joint killing moves of the 3 emperors, he was able to resist for a split second, in time to be reincarnated. After the reincarnation of the Emperor Gue Su, he exhausted all means against the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom, especially the newly promoted God Kings. Those God Kings who had just broken through were weaker. Emperor Gue Su even bullied the smaller ones with the bigger ones, exhausting all means to attack and kill them, even exterminating the resurrection carriers. So far, he had completely exterminated 7 or 8 God Kings of the Yinfeng Ancient Kingdom. It made the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom very heartbroken. "Let's talking about business." Emperor Gue Su sat there. "This time, I'm going to head to the Treasure Land Dream Domain. I've also invited all the members, and the 4 of us are the only ones willing to go together. There are multiple treasure lands that Yuan left behind in the origin continent. Some require quotas. Some were accessible to anyone. But because there are no restrictions, the threshold is extremely high instead. Powerful forces will try to monopolize it, and the only way to get in is to kill your way in." Dream Domain. Luo Feng naturally knows the information about this treasure land. "With my strength, I can't get in. If I go in through the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom side of the relationship, I'll have to work for them as a henchman as well. That's how guest officials are. To go in, the Yinfeng Ancient Kingdom can let you in, but one must complete many tasks. Even the treasures that you get mostly belong to the royal family. That's the price of going in. Normally, for many operations, it's the 3 of us together." Emperor Gue Su laughed. "This time, with an additional brother Luo He, it'll be much easier. There are many dangerous situations that we can ask old brother Luo He to help scout." "Leave it to me." Luo Feng nodded. To detect for dangers, You can arrange for weaker clones. In the future, the four of us will act together. Yun Tian God King is in charge of the domain. Emperor Guisu said, Wu Xian and I will be in charge of dealing with strong enemies. Brother Luo, he will be in charge of probing. The probing was all left to me before. The Wu Xian God King was at the side, extremely cheerful. I'm great at evading, but I'm only a real body. Once I run into big trouble, I won't be able to escape. Now it's good. Brother Luo, he's probing can be much better than me, because the clone Luo Feng Sin Out doesn't care about evasion at all. The other few don't usually participate? Luo Feng asked. The Wu Xian God King said from the side, Empress of Wind City and the Earth God King. Both of them are good enough to rival the Emperor and Monarch levels. Unless it's huge matter, it's impossible to attend. Even we are not only not a help to them, but a burden. Luo Feng nodded. The Empress of Wind City had an excellent reputation and hadn't torn her face off with any of the various forces. The Earth God King and the Thunder Ancient Kingdom fought fiercely, but they all acted alone. The Honorable Master Dazai is the second most powerful being in the 10,000 Worlds Kingdom after the 10,000 Worlds Kingdom Lord, and is also the 10,000 Worlds Kingdom Lord's direct disciple. He is in a high position of power and doesn't lack much in the way of resources. He won't participate in general actions, the Wu Xian God King said. The Tian Du King is even a personal disciple of the Yinfeng ancient ancestor, and likewise, he doesn't participate in general actions. As for the Black Fire Demon Lord, after all, he is in command of a major power and will not easily participate in actions. Some of the topmost resources in the origin continent are what will attract the three of them to participate. Wu Xian laughed. Me, Guisu and Sister Yun Tian. The three of us are loners, that's why we often act together. In the future, there will be one more Brother Luo He. Emperor Guisu hailed. Although Brother Luo He also leads a force before, he has many clones after all. Our team has become stronger. Wu Xian was also satisfied. It's by relying on Big Brother Guisu and Big Brother Wu Xian to lead me. I'm the weakest one in the team, the green-clothed one-eyed woman said. Luo Feng also said, It's my first time acting, I'm not too familiar. So please be straightforward if there's anything. Brother Luo, he is too polite. Emperor Guisu still valued Luo Feng. Just became a god king and he was so powerful. What level did he get in the future? Definitely a great help on his path of revenge. Perhaps the current Luo He was reluctant to clash with the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom, but with the help of Luo He, obtaining more resources from the Treasure Land and making himself stronger, this was also a kind of cooperation. The Treasure Land Dream Domain. You need to rely on Emperor Guisu and Wu Xian God King to fight their way in. Luo Feng was also clear that the Emperor Guisu, Wu Xian God King was definitely considered to be at the peak level amongst the second-level God King. Even more powerful than the Tian Kuan Kingdom Lord, the normal second-level God King to reach this level was the limit, wanting to go even further, to reach the level of Emperor and Monarch. According to the known methods on the origin continent, several either comprehended the complete origin Tao, such as the 10,000 Worlds Kingdom Lord, either practiced into the ultimate realm life form, such as the emperors and monarchs of the two ancient kingdoms. The resources required is incomparably huge. Either they had outstanding talent, such as the Empress of Wind City and the Mother River Lord, who were all practicing several Tao paths at the same time and cultivating powerful inheritances in order to rival that level. Everyone is fine with it. So 3 days later, gather at Huangyao Mountain, Emperor Guisu said.